Peace. So I'm back again after a gap of just one day. So today I want to talk about Satan, who I've spoken about quite a bit already. But today I want to go through what the Quran tells us and the Holy Spirit tells us by command of God, and what are the signs of what Satan is doing against us, and how it is actually working wonders on the earth today, with most of mankind falling for his wiles and his deceptions. And most of us are complete followers of Satan, if not Satans as well, since there is not just one Satan, there are many Satans running around on the earth today, and have been from the beginning where Satan started. And so, just to recap, Satan is a demon. Demon are fire beings, and Satan became Satan when God created man and asked everybody to prostrate to Adam. And this guy called Iblees, Satan, whose name is actually Iblees from the demons, refused. And from that day onward, he is Satan, and his followers are satanic or Satans themselves. So there is not just one Satan. Iblis is the head honcho Satan, the leader of all Satans. On the other side, there's only one God. There are not gods under God. There is the Holy Spirit, Gabriel, the highest messenger of God, and then all us little messengers under him, and the high messengers are the angels and Gabriel, obviously. And then the rest from mankind are the lesser messengers of God in the seen world, which he sends from time to time to tell people to straighten up before he destroys them, which is the way of God immemorial. So it is that Satan that started from the time man was first created in the so-called Garden of Eden, and then the fall of Adam and his spouse, and the rest of us down to the earth here, which we are now currently living on, to be tested and tried and put in our places in the hereafter, whether it be the garden or the hellfire. For most, it will be the hellfire, no matter how uneasy that is for everyone to understand, but that is the fact of the matter. So that's the beginning of Satan. Now let's see what he's doing, what he has done, what he continues to do on the earth as he takes the souls that are accepted to him by their following him. So the first reference I want to go through is in chapter 2. And when comes to them a messenger from within God, confirming to what with them, push away a group from those they brought the book of God, behind their backs, like surely they, not they know. And they follow what read the Satans over kingdom of Solomon, and not rejected Solomon, but surely the Satans they rejected. They taught the mankind the magic, and what sent down over the two angels with Babel, Harut and Marut. And not they both taught from anyone, till they both said, surely what we, a trial, so don't you reject. But they taught from them both what it makes separation between the one and his spouse. And not they with wronging with it from anyone, except with will of God. And they taught what it wrongs them, and not it benefits them. And already they know, to one purchasing it, not to him in the hereafter from creation, and to be evil what they sell with it, their souls, if they were their knowing. So this is the first example of magic. Solomon's kingdom is without equal after him, as far as I can see. His kingdom was established on the earth, where God gave him fundamentally a control over the whole earth. He could do whatever he wanted. The Satans used to work for Solomon. These two angels were his high chiefs on the earth, Harut and Marut, and they're the two ones that taught magic to the Satans and the rest, whoever God wanted, to set up the kingdom of Solomon, whatever Solomon wanted on the earth. And they told everyone, don't reject. This is a trial. And of course, the Satans, they don't give a damn. So they taught mankind magic, and till this day, the Satans teach the mankind magic. All these secret societies where you hear of magic and witchcraft and all that, it's absolutely true. They are practicing magic, but God does not let that magic harm any of us who are under His mercy. It is only with His wish that they can do wrong to us. And people like me, they have very little power over with their magical garbage and spellbinding. So, this is the first place. So, magic is real. Understand that. It is not illegal to do magic. It is by God's command, obviously. It's not illegal to practice magic. It is illegal to purchase with it. So, if you sell magic, you are going to hell in the hellfire, in the hereafter, sorry. So, understand that for yourselves. I mean, I don't know any magic, by the way, so don't worry about me. Worry about those who have the ability to do magic, and they do it on you every day and you don't even realize it. O you, the mankind, eat from what in the earth allowed good, and don't you follow writings of the Satan. Surely he to you an enemy clear. Surely what he orders you with the evils and the lewdnesses, and that you say over God what not you know. So here you go, and you are saying over God what you don't know. What is happening on the earth? All I can see is evil and lewdness. Lewdness is rampant everywhere, and it's glorified. I mean, you love it, you watch it, you glorify it. It's in front of your screens all the time. You're in front of them. So, understand what's going on. O you, those who believe, enter in the submission enough, and don't you follow writings of the Satan. Surely he to you an enemy clear. So here's another spot where, O you, those who believe, spend from goods of what you earn, and from what we bring out from you to you from the earth. And don't you desire the wicked, from it you spending, and not you with taking it, except that you feel bad in it. And know surely God self-sufficient, praised. The Satan, he promises you the poverty, and he commands you with the lewdness. And God, he promises you forgiveness from him and grace. And God ample, knowledgeable. So what is being promised to you? Poverty, because if you don't get a job, if you don't get high grades, you're going to be poor. Yeah, poverty and lewdness. These are the two things He's promising on the earth, and you're falling for it. You think because you won't have a big house, you're poor. You think you don't have a little too much food to eat or extra in your bank account, you're poor. You don't have a pension, you'll be poor. You don't have a retirement, you'll be poor. Or a bunch of garbage. I mean, we're supposed to live day to day, barter and trade with each other, make food, feed each other, help the poor, help ourselves, and stay away from lewdness. And what is he doing? Look at what's happening on the earth. That exactly. I don't have to explain it. Go look around you. Those they eat the usury, not they stand, except like what he stands, the one he addresses him, the Satan, from the touch. So any usury and interest that we deal in, it is the Satan that's touching us. That with surety they say surely what the trade, example of the usury, and allows God the trade and disallows the usury. But one comes to him instruction from his Lord, but stops, but to him what passed, and his command to God. And one who transgresses, but they companions of the fire, they're in her living. So understand the bankers where they're going. If this book is true, the bankers are headed to hell. Everybody who deals in usury is headed to hell. So here's a little section. So those say to them, the mankind, surely the mankind has gathered to you, but fear them. But adds them faith, and they say, our account God, and blessed the disposer. So they return with favor from God and grace. Not it touches them evil, and they follow happiness of God, and God with grace great. So, when you tell me to fear these morons, these 8 billion morons that are going to gather around me to harm me, I'm going to say, go to hell. My account is God, and He's the disposer. He's blessed the disposer. And that is Satan to you. Surely what? That to you the Satan. He makes afraid his protectors. But don't you fear them, and fear me if you be believers. So fear God. These bloody fools on the earth have no power over you. They know it, by the way. And those, so this is basically those that spend in the mankind to be seen of the mankind. And though they spend their wealth to be seen of the mankind, and not they believe with God, and not with the day the later, and any he be the Satan, to him a close one, but evil close one. So when look around how many people are spending so much money, and if you don't spend and be known, you're like a loser. Yeah, I mean, well, your $2, your $5, or your $8, whatever you spend. But like the one who spends millions and billions, and he's out there on the news and everything, and you think he believes with God? The ones who spend in the path of God do not need to be known. They don't want to be known. They just want to do the right stuff, and they fear their Lord. And the Satan will make you believe like, spending your wealth to be seen of the mankind is what you need to do. And that's what most people do. They like to be seen. They like to be heard. They don't like to believe with God, nor the day the later, which is the hereafter. That's to you, Satan, to you, the close one. Those who believe, they fight in path of God, and those who reject, they fight in path of the transgressors. But fight, protectors of the Satan. Surely plan of the Satan is weak. No, nothing to be said there except understand. You have to understand who's fighting in God's path and who's fighting in the path of transgressors and the Satan. You have to understand that, of course, this logic fits perfectly if you think you're fighting in the path of God while you're fighting for Satan, and you think you're fighting for God. Obviously, you'll think the other ones are fighting for Satan. Have you figured out who you're fighting for, really? This is a very controversial part, so I'll give it a shot here. Surely God, not he forgives that they partner with him, and he forgives what other than that to any he wishes. And one he partners with God, but has strayed a straying far. If they call from other than him except females, and if they call except Satan turn. So they make female gods. Understand that. Not just from mankind. This is females, not women. Females. So of course the liberals will say, oh, this is such an atrocity. Such an atrocity that we're putting the females lower than the males. They are. In the creation of God, a man is higher than woman in the creation of man. When you see in this book man with a capital M, it includes men and women. God created the man, and from the man he created the two pairs, the male and the female. The female is lesser of the two pairs. In general, there are exceptions. Some females are better than males, and most males are better than females in the rank eyes of God. That's the way it is. You will not find female messengers of God in the books of God. You will find male messengers. Men are messengers of God in most cases. The one exception I know of is Mary, who is one of the highest of mankind. She is in the top 10, 12 persons in all of mankind in the eyes of God. So there's always the exception. There is the rule is the man is higher than the woman. So don't be calling females. Call God. Of course, don't be calling men either. Call to God. That's the bottom line. But they make females into gods. Today, look around you. How many divas and how many females are made into godlike figures for you that you worship, that you serve and you bow to all the time. So here's an example of where God is trying to tell us to stay away from gambling and alcohol. O you, those who believe, this is the Holy Spirit actually telling us with God's command. Surely what the alcohol and the gambling and the evil and the raffling, abomination from deeds of the Satan, but push him away. Maybe you prosper. So it's not talking about these actions specifically. These things are used to make you go astray. So push the Satan away and you can do all these things. You can drink alcohol, you can gamble. Of course, the evil and raffling you should stay away from, obviously. But the alcohol and gambling you can do to an extent where you are still in control of your senses. There's no prohibition on alcohol and there's no prohibition on gambling. The evil as well, there's evil done to evil. So if somebody is doing evil to you, you can do evil to them. But just doing wanton evil just for fun and games is not allowed or not accepted by God as a righteous act, obviously. Surely what he wants, the Satan, that it occurs between you, the enmity and the hatred, in the alcohol and the gambling. And he stops you over remembrance of God and over the prayer. But will you be stopping? So, the question to you all, will you stop doing this to turn away from remembrance of God? And how much enmity and hatred is pushed across mankind by alcohol and gambling. I don't have to go into details of that. And when you see those, they vainglorying in our signs, but turn away over them till they vainglory in story other than it. And of what he surely makes you forget, the Satan, but don't you sit after reminder with the people, the wrongdoing. So here, Satan makes us forget. We sit with people mocking God and his signs. Don't sit with them. That's the act of righteousness and piety from God. So this is the messenger telling you, do we call from other than God what not it benefits us and not it wrongs us? And we turn over our heels after behold guides us God. Like the one overcome him the Satans in the earth, wonderful to him, companions, they calling to him, to the guidance come to us. Say, surely guidance of God, it the guidance, and we command it to our submitting to Lord of the knowing. So here's how what's happening today. The Satans are calling you to come to them, and their words are wonderful. My words are not wonderful. They will never be wonderful to you because they are warning and admonishing words, telling you to straighten up and come to the word that is even, to the word of the Quran and then Torah and the Injil, the Bible. And don't you eat from what not it remembered name of God over it, and surely it to be rebellious. And surely the Satans, to their inspiring to their protectors, to their disputing you. And if you obey them, surely you to be partnering. So this is for eating. Don't disallow and allow eating things which you have no idea about. Disallow what God has told you to not eat, or disallowed eating, and don't say anything about anything else. If you do that, you are partnering with God, and for partnering, you will go to hell. So that's how strict God is about disallowing food and stuff like that. So here's, what did Satan do to whisper to Adam? We've talked about this before. He said, "Don't not stops you both, Lord of you both, over this the tree, except that you both be two angels, or you both be from the perpetually living." And he promised, "Surely I to you both to be from the sincere." Sincere. So what is he promising you on the earth? I am promising you the same thing. I am sincere to you. He is promising you he's sincere to you as well, and he's showing you the beauty of the life of the world. Whereas I am not telling you anything about giving you the life of the world, nor am I promising you that I'm going to give you the hereafter. God will give you the hereafter when you believe with him and the hereafter. This life is useless in relativistic terms. This life is absolutely full of deception and delusion, and you have to figure that out. And then obviously when that happened, God is telling Adam, Satan is an enemy clear to you. And he told him that, and he told both of them that, and they did not remember. They did not hold fast to that warning, and that's what's happening on the earth. People are just finding ways to overcome the absolute truth in the books because their desires do not require nor let them abide by the books of God, by this book. Why should we follow a book? But you follow books. Why don't you think that? You've been taught by books all your lives. You read books written by stupid, illiterate men who peddle garbage clothed in wisdom and knowledge. This is the true wisdom and knowledge, the book of God, the Quran, the Torah, the Bible. These books are the wisdom and the knowledge, the true knowledge, which you will never adhere to because you've fallen for the Satan. His promising you the life of the world, perpetual life. They're peddling perpetual life now. I mean, they've been doing it for centuries, forever. He started with Adam telling him, if you take this tree, you will live forever, or you will become an angel, or you will inherit a kingdom that will never perish. What are they promising you today here? All of you people, they're promising the same thing, the Satan and his followers. They're telling you that you will live forever. Don't do this, otherwise you'll die. Don't do that, or take this, otherwise you'll die. Take this pill, get this operation, get this food additive, get this supplement, otherwise you will die. Yeah, and if you take it, you won't die somehow. Somehow you will prevent death because People in the past have prevented death coming to them. You have to understand the delusion of Satan is deep, and our own fear of death obviously plays into that falsehood, and are falling for the stupid, actually, it's a stupid construct that somehow we're not going to die. Somehow something will save us from dying on this earth. There's nothing that will save a single soul from dying in this earth. We will all die. So once you get that out of the equation, everything else is just garbage. Who cares about kingdoms? Who cares about wealth? You got to live your life righteously. Find what is righteous. Be truthful. Be righteous. But no, that is too difficult. O sons of Adam, not he surely try you, the Satan, like what took out your two parents from the garden. He snatched over them both, clothing of them both, to his showing them both, evils of them both. Surely he sees you, he and his tribe, from where not you see them. Surely we make the Satans protectors to those not they believe. So if you don't believe, you figure out what belief is first. And if you don't believe what is the true belief, the Satans are made protectors to you, and you don't see anything. You think you're manufacturing beauty and absolute magnificence on the earth. Absolute, like, what can I tell you? The beauty of all beauty you're creating on the earth, and you have no idea. You're totally deluded and deceived and acting absolutely satanically, and you have no idea. That's what happens when God puts the Satan next to you, and he puts it. Satan doesn't decide that, oh, today I'm going to take this guy's life and I'm going to make him deluded. No, it's because you have taken from the proverbial forbidden tree, the Satan will come to you. You don't believe, Satan will come to you. God will let him come to you. God will put him next to you as your protector. He will whisper in your ears, and he will make you do whatever he desires to make others astray, to make you astray, and take you all to the hellfire. So what their clothing was stripped from them, and they were shown their evil. So what is happening today on the earth? Satan has basically made everybody naked in the last 100 years. Everybody walks around naked on the earth, literally, and they don't even know it. It's fine to be naked. And why is that? Because our minds are filled with lewdness, with the pictures and movies and all this lewdness that is spread in us for the last 100 years. He has done the same thing all over again. It's not the first time. He's done it before. He did it with our parents, Adam and his spouse. The same thing happened back then. The same thing is happening now. We just don't see it. It's so gradual. It's so beautiful, the plan of Satan, that nobody notices what has changed. Just look back for those who've been alive for 30, 40 years. What has occurred in our lives as far as spreading of lewdness and absolute garbage that is accepted by everyone as a norm. All the freaking lewdness that's possible has been spread amongst us, and I'm not any immune to that. I have seen it in my life as well. And slowly it became norm until I turned to God and saw that no, this is not norm. This is all garbage. It's causing absolute irreparable damage to our souls and our hearts and our minds, but we don't see it. And when they do lewdness, they say, we found over it our fathers, and God commands us with it. Say, surely God, not he commands with the lewdness. Are you saying over God what not you know? Say, commands my Lord with the justice, and make firm your faces within all mosques, and call him exclusively to him the way. Like what you initiated, you will return. A group guided, and a group true over them the astrayness. Surely they take the Satan's protectors from other than God, and they think surely they're guided. So mosques, just understand, mosque is a place of worship, a place of prayer to God, and you can call a synagogue a mosque, you can call a church a mosque, you can call a mosque a church. It's the same thing. What you're doing in there is what defines you in front of God. Has nothing to do with the name mosque, church, or synagogue. It's your faith that defines you, not the name of the building you go in, which is called mosque or church or synagogue. So here's an example. And read over them news of the one we brought him our signs, but cancelled from them. But he followed the Satan, but was from the transgressors. And if we wished to our making him aware with them as the signs, but surely he perpetuated to the earth and followed his thoughts. But his example, like example of the dog, if you load over it, it wags tongue, or you leave it, it wags tongue. That example of the people, those who falsify with our signs. So explain the explanation, maybe they think. Evil example of the people, those who falsify with our signs, and their souls they're wronging. So understand that the Jews, I'll just give an example here. Jews called everybody who's not a Jew like an animal. They're very true if they're believers. So the example of a believer against a non-believer, and the believer is the true believer, obviously. So if everybody thinks they're believers, those that aren't are like animals to them. Now think about yourself. If you're on a high place, you look at the lowly one like a servant, like a little person that has no capacity, that is not able to do anything righteously. That's how we are. So, for the truth, the absolute truth, the true believers are much higher than the rest of mankind. And if the rest are rejectors, they're like animals. They are the example of animals as per the book of God. It's not like they are animals, it's like the way they act. Because they reject God, because they falsify his signs, because they take Satan's as their protectors, they are like animals. And the Quran has 2 or 3 places where he equates, the Spirit equates the rejectors, those that do falsify God and his messengers and his books, as being like animals or more astray than animals. So, it's not a big deal. What the hell? I mean, like, that's what it is. This is the relativistic way of God explaining that if you don't believe, you're like the animals. It's not like you are animals, and God has made men into pigs and apes, by the way. I've said this before, I'll say it again. So, that is how God works with the people, and he is not like all merciful. He calls out who and what we are depending on our faith and our deeds. This is how we're going to end up, wherever we end up, in the hellfire or the garden. Okay, so now when the command is decided, this is what's going to happen. This is the day of the standing, yeah? So Satan will come out and tell you. And will say to Satan, when decided the command, surely God promised you promise, the true, and I promised you, but I deferred to you, and naught was to me over you from authority, except that I call you, but you answered to me. So don't you blame me, and blame your souls, not I with helping you, and not you with helping me. Surely I reject with what you partnered me from before. Surely the wrongdoers, to them punishment grievous. So here's what's going to happen that day, guys. Whoever is following Satan, he's going to tell you this. God promised the truth. I promised and deferred to you. So he's a liar, hypocrite, deceiver, where God is telling you the truth. He's saying all of this in the book. It's going to happen. The Torah, the Injil, the Quran, it's all going to happen. Of course, the Torah and the Injil today, the Bible, have been corrupted. Understand this. This book cannot be corrupted. The Quran will never be corrupted. It will only be corrupted by our thoughts. By our desires will it be corrupted, not by anyone else. So here, Satan's telling you, all he has the power is to call you. They're calling you, you're doing whatever they're calling you to do. The so-called governments, the so-called corporations, the so-called banks, and their bankster gangsters. These people are destroying your souls, and you don't even understand it. By God, already we sent to people from before you, but made beautiful to them the Satan their deeds. But he their inheritor the day, and to them punishment grievous. So, here's again an example. He's making your deeds beautiful to you. Even if they're the most wretched thing you're doing, you will make them into the most fantastic thing in your hearts. Oh no, we never do any wrong. We are like perfect human beings. We've never done anything wrong. And say to my servants, they be saying which hair better. Surely the Satan, he blurs between them. surely the Satan is to the man an enemy clear. So understand these statements, yeah. Do what is better here in the Quran. It's telling you to do things good in the Quran, do them. The Satan blurs between us. He is an enemy to us clear. You have to find out who Satan is, and Satan's on the earth. So here's where when Satan went out, when he honored Adam over Satan, Satan rejected, and then he told him that I want to be given time or given sight till the day they come out. So God tells him, go, but any who follow you from them, but surely hell you're reaping, reaping to be paid. And take out those you able from them with your voice, and attack over them with your runners and your walkers, and partner them in the wealth and the children. Promise them, and not he promises them, the Satan, except deception. Surely my servants, not to you over them authority, and enough with your Lord disposition. Nothing needs to be said there. You can read it for yourselves. So here are the statements of Abraham to his father. Behold, he said to his father, O my father, why you serve what not it hears, and not it sees, and not it self-sufficient over you a thing? O my father, surely I has come to me from the knowledge what not it came to you, but follow me, I will guide you a highway even. O my father, don't you serve the Satan, surely the Satan is to the Almighty disobedient. O my father, surely I fear that it will surely touch you punishment from the Almighty, but you will be to the Satan an inheritor. There's so much more on Satan. I'm not going to go through all of this. So here's the where he whispered, but whispered to him the Satan. This is to Adam in our first creation. He said, O Adam, should I tell you over a tree of the perpetual life, and kingdom not it perishes? So they both ate her. So it's simple as that. We fall for Satan all the time, and we are so gullible. It's not even funny, yeah. But no one will read these books because they're too hard for us to digest, because we have eaten all the fruit of the forbidden tree. You can't do that. After that, it's hard. It's impossible to turn to God. Almost impossible, of course. It's very difficult. You have to try hard, and you have to keep trying till you find the way back to God. Let me see one more I'm going to read. O you, those who believe, don't you follow writings of the Satan? And one, he follows writings of the Satan, but surely he commands with the lewdness and the weirdness. And if not grace of God over you and his mercy, not pure from you from anyone ever, but surely God, he purifies who he wishes. And God listens, knowledgeable. So I'm going to end here, but you can go read, just type Satan, and you will find Satan and Satans all over the Quran, explaining to you what Satan actually does. But the fundamental fact of Satan is that he makes us reject. He absolutely makes us reject God, and his task is to keep us deceived and deluded on the life of the world, and for us to follow our thoughts, our desires over the truth, and no matter what that truth is, as far as it's pushing our desires back, it can't be the truth. So you have to overcome your desires and your thoughts to follow the truth. And you have to understand that we are basically being deluded on the earth. So, with that, I want to end it here, and you guys can download and read more on the Satan, but fundamentally know that he is an enemy clear to you. And he's a deceiver, a deluder, a liar, a falsifier. He will never speak the truth to you. He will never say straight things to you. And while the rest of us, we will come with the absolute straightness. We will straight speak to your heart, whether it hurts you, whether it's beautiful to you, whether you like it, whether you dislike it, whether you hate us for it or you love us for it. We will say the same thing. So till the next time, peace.